everyone, this is Big Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be a review of the premiere episode of The Mandalorian Season 3. Now there will be spoilers throughout for this episode and potentially ones for all previous 2 seasons of the show and also the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi series, so just be aware when going into this overall video, and I'll leave some links below within the description regarding my coverage of those series as well. So just to quickly recap, at the end of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, where we saw the return of Luke Skywalker in his CGI form, taking Grogu away from the beginning of his training, we had that very emotional scene, that final coming together of both Mando and Grogu, and we also dropped hints at Bo-Katan wanting to reclaim Mandalore. Now at this point, this is when you would need to catch up with the Book of Boba Fett, where in both the 5th and 6th episodes, we saw Grogu leaving his training with Luke to reunite with Mando, and in the finale of that series, we would then see the both of them venturing out in space for further adventures. So going into Season 3, there was something of a muted hype, I'd say, coming into this season. After the high of seeing Luke Skywalker in Season 2, we were very much hinted at much more expansive directions for the story. And to be honest, The Mandalorian as a show really could have ended with that finale episode, but instead, the status quo was brought back to normal with those Boba Fett episodes. Just back to Mando and Grogu travelling across various locations in standalone episodes. And in many ways regarding this opener, it really encapsulated the narrative of the entire series. Now as an individual episode, it was fine, it moved along at a decent pace. We basically had mini arcs of Mando and Grogu again going from point A to point B to point C. We did have a spectacular first scene where we see the Mandalore cult recruiting a new member before getting sprung upon by a massive alligator or crocodile, and I think the effects throughout this sequence were quite good. There was a certain amount of tension and dread as we see them struggling to apprehend the massive creature. We then see Mando coming to the rescue and gunning down the creature. And perhaps we established the main narrative of the entire season for Mando as a character, where we make reference to the fact that he took off his helmet and that he has to redeem himself in the eyes of the Mandalore by bathing himself in the waters of the Mandalore shores. I believe that was the explanation given here. He then later travels to Navarro to reconnect with Carl Weathers, who's now the magistrate of the city. We did get confirmation that Cara Dune has been recruited by Special Forces. Again, we'll never know what would have happened in terms of that Rangers of the New Republic that they very much had earmarked the character to star in before all of the controversy with Gina Carano. So again, will we get some sort of backlash online with the Gina Carano fans in terms of how this was explained? I'm not so sure. I've stated previously that whilst I do like Gina Carano, the character of Cara Dune wasn't really integral to this story, and you could have easily written her out of the show and it would have had no effect, and I guess this one-liner here very much proved that to be. We then later on see Mando and Marga come across some pirates who for some reason won't accept Marga's cordial offers for conversation. For some odd reason they had to drink in the school building, and I think this was just an excuse to just set up a certain action sequence, and then the conflict ensues and then Mando takes the rest of them out with Marga letting one of them get away. And then for some reason we get this mini arc of where Mando feels the need to rebuild the IG-11 droid as we saw in the previous seasons, as it's the only droid that he knows to trust. Now why exactly would he focus so much on this droid? Again, it just didn't feel like it was anything particularly special or significant, and it just felt to me like this was just padding for time in terms of the overall episode. Maybe it's the show writers again wanting to cling on to already established characters, maybe for merchandise, I don't know, but this just didn't feel that important and just felt a bit of a waste of time concentrating on such a minor character. We did get then the other action sequence where the pirates assault both Mando and Grogu in space. Fine overall, good special effects and action and razzle and dazzle on screen, nothing wrong with this. And then we travel to the next location in Cavalia, I believe the location is, where they catch up with Bo-Katan, who is very much sitting on the throne alone. After failing to bring back the Darksaber, she has been abandoned by all of her other forces. And this was really an uninteresting scene. It should have had a bit more impact regarding Bo-Katan, who I would have assumed would have been one of the major characters involved in this season overall, especially when we're talking about the reclaiming of Mandalore. But again, this moment does point towards what should be Mando's redemption season in many ways, in helping reclaim the territory that was lost. And then the episode just ends there. So it very much concluded on a flat note. Whilst watching it in real time, I really thought we were kind of 3/4 of the way through. I was expecting much more of a powerful conclusion to the episode overall, but it just ends there. Now, I do know in the recent red carpet premiere that they had for the series, they did show the first 2 episodes, and I think that would have been something very advised here. But of course, We are talking about a show that only has around 8 episodes, I think, for each season. So they didn't want to limit the time in terms of the anticipation, in terms of the week-to-week release by showing the first 2 episodes. So overall, as an opener, it was really an average, very moderate episode. Again, much more of a symbol of what the series is overall, with just Mando and Grogu going from various locations. I'm hopeful, and I'm pretty sure as the season goes on, we will get far more compelling and interesting story arcs. I do believe that Boba Fett is set to make an appearance in the season. I'm not really sure why. There's no real point to that character, in my personal opinion. I'm pretty sure we'll get some sort of appearance from Ahsoka, as we all know her show is coming in 2024. And it was confirmed a while back that there are already plans to develop a season 4 of The Mandalorian itself. But I just think, whilst it remains the best content within Disney Star Wars, by this 3rd season now, we should really be pushing for something far more ambitious and expansive in terms of the storyline, and we could still get this with season 3. But I just think so far, in terms of this opening episode, it just felt really more of the same. We've just seen this already, particularly from season 1, and I would have felt by now that we should have really been pushing the narrative forward and really digging deeper into the Star Wars universe. So overall, nothing terrible, nothing awful, but at the same time, it just felt very safe and very consistent without really being truly exceptional. But hopefully the season will get better as it goes on with the following episodes. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review of the opening season premiere of The Mandalorian Season 3. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this was a good start? Do you think they really need to start improving a bit more in terms of the more substantial story arcs? Do you think the whole Mando and Grogu dynamic has gone past its sell-by date now, and that we really should have seen the last of Grogu in that season 2 finale, and we should have had much more focus this time round on the reclaiming of Mandalore? And do you think The Mandalorian is still a quality show and very much worthy of a 4th season? Let me know what you think in the comments. And as usual with these series, I will of course provide any standout episode reviews and also reviews of the finale and also the overall season of the show. So look out for all that future content within the channel. And if you have any other suggestions regarding any other movies or television series or any other issues or topics within the entertainment industry or pop culture that you'd like to see me cover, then also drop me a suggestion within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.